Welcome everyone to Anime Talk. This is your host, Joe Animated. I welcome you guys back to our fourth episode. Tonight I have three special guests once again. My first guest up, or actually let's talk about myself first, sorry. I am a guest writer or a staff writer at We Remember Love. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Animated. And tonight, if you guys have any questions, please hashtag them Joe's Anime Talk. And as we go on, we'll get you guys engaged with your questions. Our first guest is Akira from Moe Fundamentalism. You can find him on Twitter at Akira Skuro. Go ahead and say hi.
Hey guys, I'm Akira. It's good to be back on the show.
Our next guest is Foshizzle from Metanorn. This is also his second time on, coming back for a repeat performance. Go ahead and say hi.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And then our next guest is also from Metanorn. We have Nin or Lvlln. You can also find him at Twitter at Lvlln. Go ahead and say hi.
Hey guys. My first time here.
So let's get started, guys.
Alright.
So first up, in your guys' opinion, what makes a great anime comedy? Is it the slapstick? Is it parodies? Is it good writing? What to you guys makes a great comedy show?
Well, I guess I'll start things off. To me, it sort of depends on what kind of comedy I'm watching, and I think, especially for anime, there's a big correlation between like the visual style of the show and what I expect from it. Sometimes I really just like anti-humor. Like, I love shows that just do one joke and just pound it into the ground. That's really funny to me. And the best example I can think of is Seitoka Yakuin Domo, SYD, which was perfect to me. Shows like Nichijou or whatever, like, just like things that are not supposed to be funny, but because they're so ironically unfunny, they end up being funny. And that's really what I'm into these days.
Yeah, when you said pounding one joke into the ground, I immediately thought of the same show, Seito. Have you seen the new OVA yet, by the way?
No, I really should. I really should.
Yeah.
It's, more of the same. I really enjoy that show. But
yeah,
for me, I agree. The visual style often has a lot to do with it. My favorite comedy series of all time probably is Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, specifically the second season. But Shinbo Shaft's kind of very quirky designs and visual style really helped in that, as well as just the writing and kind of just the dark humor.
Right. I don't know, Squid Girl was funny. They had puns in that. Puns pretty funny for me. I guess slapstick. There's another show just recently ended, Gintama. They did it all the time. They had, I think, a combination of everything. The slapstick, the humor, the jokes, and everything for that.
See, I kind of agree with Akira on the taking one thing and just running with it. Like SYD was great for that. People called it stupid, brainless, whatever, and that's what it was trying to do. Like, that was the intent. It wasn't trying to be anything more than a one-trick pony that rode that trick into the ground, buried it, dug it up next week, and rode it one more time.
Yeah.
But what I love about SYD is that it knows that it only has one joke. Like, there are a lot of shows that try to be funny by taking one joke and making it into more than one joke, and that's when you really see sort of comedies kind of fail. A good example of this is K-On!, I think. I think the comedy in K-On!, is terrible because it's literally the same kinds of situations, the same kind of shit, but they try to make it different every week. But, a show like SYD, it knows it only has one joke. And it, doesn't care, and that's what I love about it. But I guess, I think there are more sophisticated kinds of humor that sort of don't really get too much airtime. I'm thinking of a really great show called Nerima Daikon Brothers that not a lot of people have seen. It's by the same guy who did Excel Saga, if anyone of you have seen that. Yeah, it's very poignant, very political, very sort of relevant, and it's very sarcastic. And I think there's not enough of that in anime these days. It's more sort of the childish slapstick, which it also works pretty well, I think.
Right.
Have you ever seen Tatami Galaxy? Because that's one I'd definitely, it's a drama, but it's also very much a comedy, and that one is also quite poignant I guess it has a very touching story, but also
Hmm.
the
Yeah, right.
a lot of the humor comes from sort of the main character talking to himself or thinking to himself and very quickly, very
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
self-doubting manner.
So
Yeah.
I say, so what's our good comedy this season? I'm trying to think what I'm watching, and I wouldn't consider anything like a great one-trick
Oh,
pony kind of comedy.
this question is so easy to answer.
Yeah, what's your
It's
answer?
clearly Nyaruko-san, which is like the
Yes.
like
Yes, yes,
That's my favorite right now.
me
I
too.
I love Nyaruko-san because it like not only does it know it only has one joke, it also knows that the only reason why people are watching it is because they're all like super otakus and they just love like being fed shit that they want to hear.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it's like it's so shameless in its promotion of itself and the people who watch the show that it's just really funny. Also, I think the voice actress is just amazing. Like she
Yeah.
Oh
does such a
yeah.
good job, and like her overacting is like half the show. To be
Right, right.
Yeah, I
um
agree. I really don't get most of the references. I've been reading this blog that is dedicated just to pointing out all the references, and yeah, I don't get most of them, but I still really enjoy it because just of the amount of energy the voice actress has,
yeah.
and just the
Yeah,
it is very much a slapstick show too.
yeah, died laughing on episode 2 when they had that One Piece comment. It was just so random. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
It was pretty
seriously.
good. So I don't know, references here, that's pretty funny for that show.
I think this season
Um,
for me, I'm not watching any real comedies. I've actually gone down to dramas, or I guess if you can consider Aquarion a comedy, because that's
Oh yeah, definitely.
other than that, I'm really not. I'm not watching anything that's pure comedy like that SYD level kind of thing, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
I guess Poyo Poyo's kind of that way, but it's only 3 minutes, and that's there's a minute and a half of opening and ending, so you can't fit a whole lot in there.
that kind of reminds me. Have you guys been watching or seen Recorder and Renstill? That's one where I think they do kind of pound the same joke into the ground, but it's actually not very funny. It gets old really quickly.
I think
Yeah.
okay, so I think there are like there's two elements that make like that sort of one trick pony really funny. One of them is like the original joke has to be funny. Like that's obviously key. But also like sort of the way that you do it needs to also be funny. Like the reason why SYD is so funny is because it literally does the same thing. Like they have the same lines, the same cuts, the same frames. Like it's so deliberate that you know it has to be a joke. Whereas with shows like like Round to Cell, like I think is another great example of a show that like like tries to switch it up, like tries to put the same joke in like different clothes a little, and like that's why it's really not that funny. And also at the same time, like I think the original joke, like the original premise, wasn't that funny to begin with.
Yeah, I can see that.
I also think one thing we haven't really mentioned much is sitcoms. Just when I think uh, like in America, the common TV show is the sitcom. In anime, when I think of sitcom, I think of Working. That's a
Right,
pretty good
right.
example where
Oh yeah.
you see the each episode usually has some semblance of some story where the characters misunderstand each other and it leads to a head in some funny ways. In a
Like
situation
everything
where
involving Yamada, jeez.
yeah,
Oh, I love Yamada's the greatest.
Yeah, she is.
She's one of the greatest female characters I think ever. Um, she's just so enthusiastic, but she's so stupid.
Yep.
And that's like a great combination. And I think Working is one of those rare shows where like you like every single character. I don't think there's a single character I dislike on Working. Like I might dislike them as people, but I really like them as characters, and I really like their interactions with the rest of the cast.
Yep.
I know Inami has kind of a hate them because she's very violent,
He is very violent.
but I think that kind of makes her all the more endearing.
Yeah, yeah,
or the
perhaps,
inability to
perhaps.
deal with it.
All right, guys. So kind of moving on here.
All right.
So
Sure.
this season we have a director doing two different shows, Space Brother, two different, very different shows by that matter, Space Brothers and Mysterious Girlfriend X. I apologize, I forgot his first name, but because Watanabe is a very popular last name, but we've got this director who comes from Doraemon, begins to take on two very different projects, and then actually is beginning to execute them pretty well, at least in my opinion. Min, what do you think?
Yeah, so his first name's Ayumu, by the way, Ayumu
Are
Watanabe,
you
and
me, I think, actually?
Ayum, oh, is it? Well, I don't know. My anime list says Ayumu, and
Okay.
so yeah, this was going into this season. I was kind of curious about this guy just because he was directing two such very different shows, and when I checked out his profile, it's the only thing he's ever done before is Doraemon, and I think he's yeah, as you said, Joe, he's really been doing a good job. One thing that really impressed me when I watched first episode of Mysterious Girlfriend X was just the cinematography. It's in anime nowadays. I feel like you see a lot of shaftiness, so to speak, but he had his own kind of twist to like regular camera angles and especially using the moving camera a bunch that I've really appreciated.
Hmm.
And same goes for the first episode of Space Brothers. I thought that show kind of didn't hasn't kept up as well and after the first episode, but it used a lot of the moving camera, some split screen, and quick cuts that I thought showed, this guy really seems to know what he's doing. I've been enjoying both shows quite a lot.
Well, I'm only watching Space Brothers, so I can't speak to MGX, but I think he's done a wonderful job with Space Brothers. I really think that I think both of his shows sort of give off this like old school vibe that you don't really see anymore. You know what I mean? Like, there are anime out there that are super like moe blob-ish, and there are anime out there which are not moe blob-ish at all, but I think his sort of directing and sort of the character designs that he employs and the general feel of the both shows, like, they harken back to like, you know, I think, a bygone age in many ways. Including like the fact that he includes all the lyrics in the OP songs. That's like a very, very old school kind of move. Like there are very few anime that like do that anymore.
Well, I think it's interesting that the two shows he picked up are not your typical, like I said, not your typical Moe type shows. MGX character designs, the feel of the show is very separate from that genre.
Yeah.
And then you've got Space Brothers, which is just in fact not it's a drama slash sitcom type show about grown adults doing grown adult things.
Yes.
So they're very different from the mainstream. I would say very different from that typical pattern that a lot of anime shows tend to fit into.
Yeah, they, to be honest, they both feel like they could fit into Oitamina. Space Brothers more so, I guess, but neither of them really feel a lot like the typical late night otaku anime. I definitely see the sort of the bygone era, as you said, Akira, feel.
Yeah.
Space Brothers gives as the grown up people doing grown up things. I always make a comparison to Planetes or Planets, the
Who the
you know
fuck knows, right?
yeah, show from Wanderers, show from the early 2000s, which has some similarities in that it's about astronauts, but really the key similarities it's that it's about adults who are trying to figure out their way through life, their jobs, relationships, things like that, their hopes and dreams. Um, and Mysterious Girlfriend X, I think, I mean, it definitely owes a lot to the original manga art style. It's um, it does feel very 90s or maybe even earlier, and I think the music helps a lot too, where the opening song, for example, reminded me of of an oldies song, an American oldies song called Arthur's Theme. I don't know if and either of you or any of you are
No.
familiar with that. Um, yeah, I can post a link to it later. Uh, and the kind of the background music as well is very feels very nostalgic, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and MGX is from the way the panels are set up in the. I hate referring to the manga because I don't want to get into spoilers, but for people who haven't read it, but the way the panels are set up and the way the story flows is very would be very difficult to translate to an anime. And he's done a pretty good job of making that transition and not completely losing people because it's much more slower paced. It waits for build up. It's not something that just hits you on episode by episode. So
Right.
it's you have to be patient with it, which a lot of people aren't. And so he's done a good job of at least pacing it in such a way it's not terribly slow, but still kind of maintains that flow, that story flow that the written form had coming into this.
Yeah, I'd read the the first 5 to 10 chapters of the manga way back when. I don't. I think one thing he's really done a lot more in the anime is the depiction of the saliva swapping. I don't
Jeez,
remember
Yeah,
it.
yes.
I don't remember it being quite as
Graphic.
yeah,
fluid.
indulgent. Yeah, in the manga, and like I like it so far, but I think 4 episodes in, I feel like he's kind of spending a little too much time in those scenes than
Yeah.
necessary. If there's any criticism I can give
Well,
you on that.
before I sort of um before I get too negative, I would like to remind you that, like, of course, it's really early in the season. He's done a great job so far, but the writer for Fractal also took on 2 shows that season, and both of them look great on episode 4.
Right.
So
I disagree, but
I think, but I'm saying I think it's way too early to tell, and I think there's been a lot of praise being sung and a lot of like there's been a lot of jubilation and optimism about this season, and I just think it's too early to sort of make any final judgment calls. Although I do like what I've been seeing so far.
yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's a fair thing to say. It's definitely way too early to draw any conclusions about this director, but the first 8 episodes of the things I've seen of him, I think, been shows promise. Like to
Yeah,
see more of it.
yeah.
So talking of shows that have promise, so one show that keeps getting lots of buzz from the Anna vloggers is Natsuiro. I butcher these names. I apologize, everybody.
Don't worry about it. I got it. I got
All
it.
right, Natsuiro
But
Kiseki. I've seen a lot of different bloggers, going, "This is great. I'm loving it." And honestly,
Oh,
I
that's
haven't had
fun.
I haven't had the chance to watch an episode yet.
me
I have to
neither.
admit, from when I saw the image of it, the first thing I thought was, "Oh, great, it's another bunch of girls working at an inn." And I was
Right.
like,
This is
Oh,
uh.
Jesus. Okay.
this is about
But
Sphere, right?
what's that?
Yes.
Yeah, this is about Sphere. So this is the Sphere vehicle. Uh,
Nice.
Okay, so
but
you have to explain what the sphere vehicle is. Then
okay, well, I mean, Sphere is
are you talking the
geez.
old Michael Crichton book?
No, no.
Come on.
Jeez, I mean, so Sphere is a 4-woman J-pop unit that's formed by 4 voice actresses. I believe they are Haruka Tomatsu, Aki Toyosaki, Kotobuki Minako, and Akagaki Ayaki. Yeah, so that's Sphere. Um, and Natsuiro Kiseki is like their vehicle. Um, it's just about them, which is pretty shameless.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I actually thought that this was the one show that slipped through the cracks. Um, because I saw a shit ton of hype about Space Bros, about MGX, about Sankarea, about basically every other show that wasn't this show, you know?
Right.
Or, if there was sort of buzz about Natsuiro Kiseki, I definitely saw it as sort of more from people who are interested in Sphere, or people who are interested in, the voice actresses that comprise Sphere, or just people who really like shitty moe shows, But
Right. I mean, yeah, you look at the description and you think, okay, this is yet another four cute girls doing cute things, voiced by, cute voice actresses who are famous and all that. But I
yeah.
haven't seen any of it, but I have,
Am I the
I've been,
only person here who's seen it?
I've seen it.
Okay, so I think the great thing about this show, and bear with me for a second because this isn't gonna sound good, but the great thing about this show is that it has a plot. Uh,
Mhm. Yes.
and you're thinking, oh god, look at how low his standards have dropped. But I don't just mean like any plot. It has a fucking great plot. Um, and I really sort of like the fact that the story is about a separation. It's very different from sort of K-On! And other kinds of shows where you have girls who like get to know each other and everything, but like it works the opposite way, right? Like it starts with a separation,
Uh-huh.
and it's about how you repair, how you rebuild from that separation. Um, and also what I really like about it is that like this central figure in the show, the magical rock, is like this
Yes.
very no, I'm saying like it's a very mysterious thing. Like I still
Yes.
have no clue how that rock works,
Yeah, I don't know either.
and I think you're not supposed to know. It's
Right.
supposed to be like a mysterious like thing that you sort of kind of guess at. And I really sort of like that all the girls are very like they're all kind of real people in a way. Like I can kind of identify with them and I like totally understand where they're coming from. And I like that they're all not like super nice to each other.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
okay. Yeah, that's one thing that I really dislike about the cute girls doing cute things. It's just when they're super nice to each other. Because
Yeah, it's crap.
one of my favorite shows about cute girls doing cute things is of Marimite, Maria-sama ga
Oh
Miteru,
Jesus.
which is
They don't
which
can I wait, hold on. I want to
go on.
stop you for a second. They don't do anything cute in that show cuz they're all too hoity-toity to do anything cute, I think.
Well,
Um
I mean they drink tea and all that, but yeah, I mean the thing I love
But they have
about
their
it,
Tea and
pinky
cake.
sticking out like a mile.
yeah.
You know?
What I love about that though is that they are very very bitchy to each other. They try to take each other down. They know sometimes get violent to each other, and that makes for something that's interesting to watch. Conflict. That's really what drives stories and
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And like if you follow me on Twitter at all, I think one running trend throughout my illustrious Twitter career is that I really like blonde girls.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
no.
and
Blob girls.
blonde girls. And I
Oh.
love Saki from Natsuiro Kiseki. I love that she's a bitch. Um, I love that she's like bitchy to her friends. I love that
Oh,
like she's
yeah.
like pissed off. I love that she's like mean to her mom. Like, isn't that what 13-year-old girls are all about? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never been a 13-year-old girl, and so like I
Well,
I don't have
I'll
that
tell you in
experience.
9 years. How about
Uh,
that?
I,
Yeah, you can tell me
I have
about
a
that.
I have a little sister who used to be a 13-year-old girl, and yeah, that's not that inaccurate.
Right, right, same here.
Yeah, and I like that they like fight about like the dumbest things.
Yeah, like the
Um,
wishes and stuff. The
yeah, like
dreams.
like there's something really refreshing about how like real that is.
Right.
Even though the story and like that's really sort of like what I find really miraculous about Natsuiro Kiseki is the story itself is completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, like the premise is obviously meant to be ridiculous. It's not meant to be realistic, but it's sort of it's like a very real sort of interaction, and it really reminds me of Anohana,
Mhm.
with all of the melodrama taken out. Um, with less like love triangles and stuff. Can I also mention that I really like the fact that the girls aren't sexualized? Say what you will, like sports bras are not sexy.
Well,
So
that's up for debate, but so when you say they're not sexualized, I mean what exactly?
I don't
like
know.
like
I was gonna say I've
Go
seen
on.
some screen caps that would definitely come down to a Yuri type interaction.
I mean, sure. There's like like maybe like 3 seconds of that. That's like, but like the thing about screen caps is they're deceiving, right? Like I remember when a bunch of people back when Kurenai was airing in 2008, people took a bunch of screen caps of like Murasaki, like the 7-year-old girl changing, and they're like, "Look, this is a show about lollies," and then you watch the show and you're like, "This is clearly not a show about lollies." Um,
It's a show about
you know,
lollipops.
yeah. But I'm saying like what's really fascinating about Natsuiro Kiseki is like there are lots of scenes where like the girls are like very much like very scantily clad, but not in a way that's like presented as like sexually appealing. It's just like she's like, "Oh, I'm hot and the air conditioner is broken, so I'm just gonna romp around in my underwear." And I feel like that's definitely what real people do. Um,
I do that.
Yeah, and like there was that one,
True.
like sure there was that one scene where they were kind of stuck together on the bed. I mean, that's definitely yeah. Like I'm not gonna say that's not sexualized, but I think for the most part, the show like for a show about four like really moe blob girls, being voiced by like super high octane like voice actresses, like there is a surprisingly small amount of fan service in this show,
Yep.
and I think Foz can sort of back me up on this one because you're the one who's seen it.
Yeah. I just like watching it to see what happens next. You never know what they're gonna wish for next, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's what I love. It's so
That's what I like about
unpredictable.
it. Yeah, mystery
It's
about it.
so unpredictable. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it has me guessing what's gonna happen next. Like, are they gonna do a time travel thing where they wish to go in the future or something random like that?
Yeah, and I love like in episode what is it? One of the more recent episodes, the one where like they're trying to get the little kid to like convince the little kid that like they weren't like flying the sky or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, I
Like
think that's 3.
yeah, no, I love it. Like that kid has like the hugest boner for Saki. Like I thought that
Yeah.
was so funny because like I don't know, like there's something really innocent about the way like attraction and friendship and sort of all of these things are portrayed in the show. And I think that's sort of a far cry from like the way but it like at the same time it doesn't feel sterile. You know what I mean? Like a lot of shows
Mhm.
get really sterile, but this show is not sterile. It's like it's much more real, and I think that's why I like it more than something like K-On! Or
Yeah.
Yuri or
I like the
Goes.
Saki.
supernatural stuff in it too. It's pretty cool. So it's pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
absolutely.
So, taking some questions from our viewers today. One of the,
Okay.
so, from Spiral, we have, let me find his question here. Which voice actor or actress deserves an MVP tag for this season, just based on the first third of the episodes we've seen so far?
I have two words. Kana Asumi.
I was about to say, yep, that's
I
what
mean,
I'd pick.
yeah, she
There
with one show, she's kind of I think takes that
Yeah,
leap maybe.
skyrocketed to the top for me
Yeah.
anyway.
I mean, Kana Asumi has always been great. I mean,
Right.
her work as, popular and working was great. Um, her,
Hidamari sketch.
Hidamari sketch, from
Yeah,
Hidamari
yeah.
sketch.
Yep.
Sorry, I can't help myself. Um,
If you
but
could see
I
me
think
facepalm.
I remember I really enjoyed the original, like, really ghetto Flash animations for Naruto-san, because of her, and, like, her overacting and her energy just like, really carried those really shitty Flash animations through. And I think, like, her sort of performance as Naruto is just so above and beyond anything else that we've this season
Right,
from
Yeah.
right.
anybody, to be honest.
Yeah, I think. I mean, if I might have to choose her as the MVP, but I think there are a couple dark horse candidates like Shizuka Ito for Coco in Jorgamand. Um,
Ah, yeah.
her, I, I haven't,
People watch that?
Yeah.
I don't, I I watched the first episode, didn't like it so much, but I thought it was alright, worth watching
Yeah.
the second, and the second one had a lot of Coco just being, crazy.
Just one word, crazy noses. That's all I gotta say
Yeah,
for that show.
and she's really driven the show. Unfortunately, the latest two episodes have been more action heavy, and the show doesn't seem to do action very well. So that's been a shame.
Yeah.
And I think the other one is Miyuki Sawashiro. Actually, she's been
She's always solid though.
yeah,
She's
that's
pretty
true.
consistent, yeah.
Yep.
But
And you know she's the star of Lupin the Third now, and she's also in Space Brothers as multiple roles. And yeah, she's a pro. She's really good. So
yeah,
I'd say
yeah,
those two I would also put under
yeah.
consideration.
Also,
See, I was gonna say
Taka,
my
yeah,
two would
go
be
on.
definitely the voice actress from Lupin. I think she's done a great job as that voice, and then the voice actress from MGX that does Urabe.
That
I
Yeah.
really like
does
her
who?
voice. It's
Oh,
uh
Urabe.
yeah, Urabe from
Okay.
MGX. I like that deeper voice. It has that mysterious, musky. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's got that. It's just not, again, it's not that moe-fied, squeaky, you know, Alvin and the Chipmunks kind of voice. It's definitely got this very
Right.
sexy, feminine voice.
Right. She's a rookie, and she also, I mean, she deserves credit for also doing the opening and the ending songs. That
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
What I was gonna add is another person to put in consideration for me is Takagaki Ayahi, who does Saki from Natsuiro Kiseki. Um, okay, so yeah, I understand that I've been pushing this show and I've been pushing Saki a lot, but like, I mean, honestly, I think she does a great job of like, she has a good range of emotions, and like, I think the sort of presentation of the character and sort of the way that she like is very enthusiastic about the role, like really shines through. Like
Yep.
she loves being this bitchy 13-year-old.
So
Um,
it's like yelling.
yeah, like she just is yelling at people all the time, and like it's great. Like it's like in a very like not like an energetic, but like in a very angry way, in a very bitchy
Mhm.
way, and like I don't know, like I think it's great. But yeah, I guess that's my other person.
I like the one that plays Yuko from that show. Same, the green-haired girl on that, on the other one you said.
Yuka,
Yeah, she's pretty good. She's funny.
so I have to say I enjoy Haruka Tomatsu a lot. Harukatsu. Ever since I saw her as Nagi and Kan Nagi.
Oh yeah.
But I hate that she's been getting these like really like bubbly roles recently because I really don't think that's like what she should be, and I don't think that's sort of her best roles. And I think it's
Right.
shitty that like
wait,
they've
sorry,
been
that's what she should be?
she should not be like bubbly.
Oh, okay.
But they've given her all these like bubbly roles. There was Yuina from Hanasaku Iroha. Like, are you fucking
Yep.
kidding me? Uh,
Have you watched Katanagatari?
no, I haven't.
Oh, well, there's one where her role is much less bubbly, much more sinister, you might say. It's
That's
a good
good.
show too. It's
I
a very
mean,
good show too. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, I always thought the show did too much talking and too little showing. But
yeah,
I
it
think
does that.
speaking of Harukasu, I think the last really good role she did was Anaru, from Anohana,
Uh-huh. Yep.
um, all the way back in the day. So it's been a while since she's had something that's really notable, which is unfortunate, I think.
Right, right.
Yeah. Um, for men, I don't really know if there's any sort of male actors that I've really sort of paid attention to or have, especially stood out to me recently.
Yeah, unfortunately, I guess I don't really keep track of them quite as much.
Other than Wakamoto, but he's not around anymore.
Oh, I've noticed the voice actor for Jet from Cowboy Bebop's had a couple roles this season.
Yeah?
In fact, he's in Jorgemon as one of the.
You just love that show, don't you?
Actually, no, I don't. But I just watched the latest episode, so it's like right in my mind. And he's also in something else this season. Yes, Sankareya. He plays the evil dad.
Ah,
Oh,
Oh.
jeez.
I'll have to listen to that again.
I
So,
have to say, though, sort of the, um, I think overall voice direction, I would have to say, the best show is definitely Sakamichi no Aporon, which we haven't discussed in this episode at all yet.
Nice.
And I don't just say that because like they have like great jazz or whatever. Just like the attention to detail, with the accents that each character has, like I found that really, really, really. Um, and how all of sort of the characters speak in like this very, very heavy, Kyushu accent. You can think of it as like a super super heavy Southern drawl. And then Kaoru, the main character, is like he speaks like very very proper Japanese, and I love how they kind of use um accents as like signifier of like class, of background. I thought it was super cool. Um, and I think the guy who does Sentaro should definitely get a lot of credit for that because he does a great job as like this like rough and tumble like country boy.
Yeah.
I think if I had to but he does it a lot. Like he was Wataya in Chihaya Furu, so he loves doing like the hicks. He's like the hick guy, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, Akira, you reminded me because you mentioned Kids on the Slope. The other Noitamina show, Tsuritama, has, I think, Haru, played by Miyu Irino. He's been quite quite a delight to listen to.
Oh,
Like,
I hate listening to him because he's
Really?
so annoying. He's just like
And the same voice actor also plays Akira from Mysterious Girlfriend X right now. So I'd probably
Yeah.
nominate him.
like the
Yeah.
guy
In the
on that
male
fishing
side.
show.
yeah,
Decent
Uh,
but
enough.
well, I think Tsuritama has been, or also, in terms of accents, I've heard that Haru's little sister or older sister, she's supposed to have quite a weird
yeah, she
accent.
does.
Do you
She
know?
does.
Do you
It's
Yeah.
know
very
about
weird.
it? Because I don't understand Japanese enough
Yeah.
to really tell.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's fucking weird. But no, I hate Haru's voice because I hate the way he talks. He's just like, come do this thing
Yeah.
with me. Oh my god, like that's like,
Uchujin.
Little Metro.
yeah,
Yeah, he
which
is.
yay. I'm just like, all right, you need to stop. Like,
So one
Way
final.
off the crack.
So sorry to interrupt,
Vaguely.
guys. One final question.
ugh.
This comes again from
What about
Spiral.
you, Fosh? I don't think you've mentioned your
Oh,
top
true.
picks.
You have
I was
you
gonna say
said a lot,
Lvlln,
Bosh.
that voiced Yaruko. I like her. She's good.
And on
I
the
don't really
actor
have any other
side,
favorites besides the guy that plays Akira on that fishing show. I guess he's always my favorite because he's Gentoki on Gintama, and he's done a
Right.
lot of roles that I like.
Tomokazu Sugita.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He does his thing really
He always
well.
plays
Really well.
the great comedic roles for me anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyon.
Yep, Keon. Yep.
so one final question for you guys. What either
Yeah,
second
did you
season or
mention your picks?
who?
Yeah, I think he said Bill already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I think he's muted though.
What was
It's
that?
alright. Actually, there was another question earlier about where was it?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, whether or not AKB 0048 is a great show or the greatest
Oh,
show.
I saw that last night.
Sorry, I was gonna
It
avoid that
looks
one,
cool,
but I'll
I'm
let
not
you
sure
guys
how
dig in.
bad yet.
So I have a question for all the viewers, actually, and I posted this on my Twitter a while ago, aka yesterday, which was, the guy who did Macross, Kawamori, is the guy who does AKB 0048, and I wonder if this is the show he would have made instead of Macross if AKB had existed.
True.
So you think he would have latched onto a pre-existing idol group instead of?
No, just that he would have done a show about idols fighting against a totalitarian government as opposed to a show about idols singing to save space
Right,
and the
right.
universe. Because, they're both about, this is right down his alley if you think about it,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sort of wondering if he's doing this just for cash or if he, legitimately thinks this is, something awesome and fun,
Yeah, I wonder that. It was an
Well,
interesting episode though, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, I was very skeptical going into the show, and I enjoyed the first episode much more than I thought I would, but that was mainly because of the animation in the first 5 or so minutes, where
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the CG really sticks out at times, but I want to see more of that kind of animation in anime, like Black Rock Shooter did last season.
Oh yeah, like cell shaded.
Yep, cell shaded, and it allows for a lot more flexibility, I think.
Right.
What can be done with
As long as it's not like Synthal Gear, that was just CGI was terrible in that show.
Well, yeah, I didn't watch Symphogear past episode 1 because I thought that initial concert sequence was just bad.
Yeah.
I just love that they had the gall to make the show.
Right.
You know, like
Uh-huh.
like how dare they make this show? But actually, uh,
What what do you mean by that? I mean,
like,
they made Idolmaster. That's
but Idolmaster's not about real people.
That's true. Yeah. That's what
You
I
know what
figured
I
it was.
mean?
I was like, that's kind of weird.
go on.
Like, it's just so strange to me that the same guy who like did the entire Macross series, like, is doing this as
Right.
well. Um, and he's bringing the same kinds of expertise, the same kinds of, the same techniques, his same aesthetic vision, to something that's completely different. And I actually trust Kawamori not to like fuck this up because he has he has an entire pantheon of really really amazing shows underneath his belt. Aquarion,
Mhm.
Aquarion Evil, every single Macross. I mean, I think he knows what he's doing,
Oh
but
yeah.
but yeah, I just think it's interesting that like this is his show, and I would sort of I would think that someone as legit as him sort of has control over his own projects by this point. So I'm more inclined to believe that he actually like wanted to do this, as opposed to they just gave him a huge wad of money and said you're making
Oh yeah.
all this money.
Pretty much. I can see that.
So yeah, I downloaded this to my phone this morning, so I plan to watch it
But
during my
yeah, I
lunch
think we
walk
should
and
definitely
maybe.
play drinking games while watching AKB0040. I think that's definitely.
Every time they say the name of the band.
Yeah, I hate that it's not like you can't say like 0040. Like that just sounds too dumb. They
Yeah.
like should have thought about. They should have
Well, let's
thought
see.
it through a little more.
Well, in the anime, what did they say? 00.
48.
Right?
I think they did a couple
Terrible.
times.
That's terrible. Um, let's hope they don't ruin martinis like James Bond ruined martini.
We're not going there tonight. We're not going there.
Yeah,
I thought
but
it was
yeah,
funny that the hair designs, they have like little hearts on them and their eyes have hearts. I'm like, kind of weird.
yeah, yeah. Also, to people who are like getting like their panties in a bunch over me saying something about Idolmaster, like just for the record, I love the Idolmaster.
Yeah, I don't think
Um,
anyone here doesn't like the Idolmaster.
I don't think you
I love
can.
it.
I don't think you can not like the
Yeah,
Idolmaster.
it's
I
hard. It's hard to hate it.
I never watched it.
So I'm
And I
sort
know
of
you're a
wondering.
huge, you're a big Mickey fan, although I heard that you talk shit about Hibikis at some point.
Yeah, we're not
'Cause-
gonna talk about this right now because I mean I think just to be considerate to the other guests and people who are listening, we shouldn't have this conversation right now. But I will definitely take all of you on for every single one of your preferences because you're all wrong. If you don't agree with me, you're all wrong. So, I mean, I will take all of you on. I remember Joe was actually really amused the other day when I just got into like a bunch of fights with everybody on Twitter.
I've seen some of them. You just like came on there and just like exploded on there. I was like, what's going
Yeah,
on?
then I just left. Yeah.
Yeah, then you left. I was like,
Science girl, ponytail girl, like
uh-huh.
meat.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's great fun. It's great sport. I mean, I think that's what being in otaku is all about. It's all about taking all these things super seriously. Because if you don't, then like it's much
Oh
less
yeah.
fun. You know?
Really, I think it's the opposite. I think it's taking it very non-seriously.
As
Well,
long as
no,
I can
I'm
poke
saying
fun
like
at
taking
anime, I
it
don't
seriously, but like ironically. Oh God, I sound. Gee,
care.
listen to myself. No, but like like it's like taking it like seriously when you're talking with other people, but not actually taking it seriously.
Right.
Like I don't actually care who you like from the Idolmaster. Like they're not real people.
All right. Okay.
But,
Yeah,
like,
I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean? But like I don't like it when people take personal offense when you sort of
Yeah.
make fun of shows. But like I think it's all about like not taking things seriously and sort of about just like being irreverent
Well,
and
yeah,
just
it's like
combative.
Tempest in a Teapot. It's like it's all controlled, but within that controlled environment, being able to go all out and
Yeah.
be
It's like
serious and have fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know how it's like, I was just like one last thing before you wrap up, I guess. Like, you know how it's like when you get super drunk, sometimes you just want to fight someone, just like for no reason.
I haven't had that impulse.
I think you
No.
said that yesterday. You're like, I want to hit someone.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel sometimes. When I'm like on Twitter, I'm just like, wow, sometimes I just want to fight someone.
Geotag it.
All right, so
So
I guess we have to wrap it up.
yeah. So some final
Our final thoughts,
thoughts, guys.
I guess. That I mean, I think Joe's been gone for a while, so I don't
Wait,
actually
Joe's
know.
gone?
I've been
No,
no.
like he's not. He's muted his microphone. So.
Oh.
Did I?
Wait, but he's the host. What's going on?
We've taken
Sorry.
over.
I didn't. I guess I've been talking to myself. I didn't realize my mic had muted. I'm sitting here shouting into the
Oh,
mic.
Joe.
Oh my
Say it
God,
ain't
did
so, Joe.
You pulled a
Wow,
Vuk.
I'm trying.
we're doing so well.
I'm trying to manage stream here and keep audio going. I think I have the hotkey set wrong because I must have muted
Yeah,
myself at
so
some point.
Oh no.
Vuk
It's all
does
right.
that all the time.
Yeah.
He actually mutes his mic by accident.
But so
Yeah.
let's finish up with some final thoughts here, guys. Other than geotagging your tweets so you can get into a fight.
Yeah, geotag, bro.
So
Yeah,
Fosh,
come at me, bro.
yeah. So Fosh, any final thoughts on today's discussions and any comments you've got?
Not really. Just I guess continue watching the shows we're watching, having fun blogging the Nyako and Core Zombie and even Aquarian, Eureka 7. I think have fun making fun of those type of shows. Just my little screen cap things.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't go to Metanorn, you can always catch Fosh's special screen caps with his
Yeah.
witty one-liners. They're always worth checking out every week.
Yeah, I gotta post my new ones tonight.
Yeah.
Min, any thoughts from you?
I guess overall, just this season's been quite something so far. I know a lot of people have after the first couple episodes aired, it was really people were talking about this just the best season in a long time. I think a lot of shows have had their ups and downs, but overall I've been very happy. And I think the two shows that really stick out to me that have been just consistently really great have been Sankaria and Suritama, neither of which I expected anything out of. So I encourage people to check those out.
Right.
And I guess that leaves me. So, like I said before, I laugh whenever people say like this season saved anime, joff. I've been around way too long to believe that or think that anime needs saving. I don't even know what that means, to be honest, because
Yeah, I don't get it.
Because I mean, let's be honest. Last season, the moe blobs, the people who love moe blobs were they were rejoicing, and they hate this season because there are not enough moe blobs. So it's all it's all in perspective. But I guess for me, for those of you guys who haven't checked out Natsuiro Kiseki, you should. It's a lot more fun than you'll expect. Give it 2 episodes at the very least. I think you'll be charmed by it. And other than that, I would have to say that I think there's a lot of really, really great shows out there. As much as I sort of make fun of people who say that, this season, whatever, shows like Space Bros, Suritama,
Apollon.
definitely Kiss on the Slope, definitely. And even less serious shows like Sankarea or Nyaruko-san, which is amazing.
Yep.
And perhaps even AKB 0048. We don't even know. We don't know. Because there are plenty of shows that are really dumb, but really, really fun,
Right. Like,
I mean,
Bento last season was like, that's dumb, but it's just so funny.
There was that, and of course our favorite, there's SYD.
Yep.
So...
Or how can I...
Yeah, just give everything a chance. Give everything a chance.
So, thanks for joining me tonight, guys. Coming up in the next 2 weeks, we have Vuk, Ghost Lightning, and Oto-san from Shameful Otaku Secret. So next week should be a lot of fun. And then coming up on May 15th, we have Kevo, who runs the Anime Power Rankings, and Spherical Cow's blog. So it should be a lot of fun coming up these next 2 weeks.
Right.
Why are there only 2 guests on the 15th?
That's all I've got right now, which brings me up to this next slide. You can find these shows as well as audio for the shows at WordPress, joeanimated.wordpress.com. There's also a podcast feed if you're interested in that kind of stuff. And if you'd like to volunteer to come on the show and talk with me and others, you can email me at joeanimated@gmail.com. So that's how I got my 3 guests tonight, other than knowing them outside of the blog sphere on Twitter. But yeah, go ahead and email me, and we'll fit you in. We only have 2 guests in 2 weeks, so we're looking for a third.
Oh,
Alright.
yeah, and, please come fight me. I love it when people fight me on the internet.
Okay, I'll
it's
do
a lot
that
of
next
fun.
Hey, yeah, I have a friend who lives in New Haven. Maybe I'll come visit you sometime.
don't.
We can grab a
Oh,
drink.
Jesus.
We can grab
Jesus.
a drink.
Oh,
and,
guys.
And
see where things go.
And fight each other. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And watch
Guys,
Idle
Fight
Matching
Club
in the
style.
guys, I'm a scholar. I don't fight.
So
No, but yeah, thanks for listening.
So yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
thanks.
everybody.
thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks.
thanks again, guys. I always appreciate people volunteering to come on. I appreciate you coming and talking with me.
Cool.
All right, can we just have free chat now until we decide we've had enough of each other?
Actually, I've got to shut this off, but we're welcome to.
All right.
I can restart this here in a second if you want.
No, it's all good.
That's alright.
All right.
I need to go to bed anyway.
Yeah, I'll see you guys. Yeah, thanks
All right,
a lot.
thanks everybody.
Good luck on
Good
your
night.
final.
Yeah,
Yep.
see ya.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Cheers.